Hello, everyone. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Faye.
Right. So here we a bit different this week. So it's a pre-recorded, non-live
Yeah.
because we couldn't have the time to go live on the Thursday, our usual time slot. So we've got something a little bit different for you this week using jelly plates.
We have.
And we thought we'd been inspired by Kate Crane and the lovely backgrounds that she does. And we know she did that wonderful class on Tuesday. So, Debbie, you were going to talk through what you've got there first.
Yes, I have got this is a homemade one and it's really deteriorating. Apparently you can melt them and redo them, but I'm just going to show you this technique because it's using paint pens. So I've doodled some patterns on this using a paint pen. It's by De La Rowney, but you can use Posca pens. I've used these because they've got quite a broad tip and this is really getting quite sticky and falling apart. So I've doodled on this and I've waited for it to dry. And what I'm going to do is put a little bit of paint on the top and hopefully it will lift the pattern off. That is the idea. If I can get right. Oh, it might be a bit too much paint. So I'm going to do white and a bit of blue.
So, how much paint, Deb? Then not too much.
I don't know. It's all about.
It's a bit of an experiment. And so you've let the pens dry on there then.
Yes, the pens have to dry, and then the
So
paint
I've
should lift it.
And I've got some of these here, which I know you got for me for one of my birthdays. So I might have a go at some of these in a bit. So, acrylic. So any Posca pens would work because they're acrylic.
Yes. Any paint pens. I'm just going to try this. I don't know if it will work because the plate is quite old, but it should lift with a background, and I should get the doodling.
And so the idea is it lifts.
And that's not great.
So I think, do you have to layer one layer of paint, then let it dry, and then do a second layer? I'm not sure. It's all an
I don't know
experiment.
because it hasn't.
So Debbie, you've got a homemade jelly plate, but you've also got the Jelly Arts ones.
Yeah. Oh, that's a little better this time, but it hasn't lifted the patterns like I was hoping it would. I'm just going to carry on.
Carry on playing.
On
and the thing with these, so the Jelly Arts ones, which we stock in the shop, we've got rectangle ones or the 6x6 square. I'm going to use the 6x6 square today, and that is just an example of one of the cards I've made. But also, I think people will remember, Deb, we did this scrapbook layout all with jelly prints.
Oh yes, I've got mine here.
So that all just little jelly prints that we backed a Jenny Wren Cutfile with. Yeah, great. So look at that, loads of different things. So once you've got all your prints, and I just keep a folder with my prints. So here's some examples of prints I've done. We're going to show some of these techniques. There's just a whole range, some very faint pastels that you could back photographs with or use for card backgrounds. That's on a 6x6. That's the colour wheel. That's the Vicky Boutin stencil. I even kind of like this, the really mottled effect where it's almost a bit distressed. But I just cut these up and use them in pieces. So there's like so many different, depending on what stencils you've got. And the key is to build up the layers. So in this one, for example, this is an acrylic paint background, but it's about then going in and adding your whites and your blacks to add depth. So we'll kind of show that as we go today.
I think it may be not working because it's very, very old and falling apart.
So maybe let's go with the I'm going to use a Jelly Arts one. I have got, which I had for my birthday from my lovely sister. I have got this. I haven't used this yet. So this is the gel one, but it's a circle. So if you haven't ever used a jelly plate before, they are kind of like a rubberized printing plate. So I'm going to have a go with the circle as well. But just to get us started, I'm going to put the layout out the way because it can be messy. So I'm going to have a go with some inks first of all. So I've just got a mask which is kind of going to act like a moon. And you want plenty of sheets of white paper. We just use printing paper, Deb. I generally use just white.
Yeah, just normal, cheaper the better, really.
Paper. Yeah. And then I'm going to have a go at adding a little bit of pixie powder, which is a bit like a kind of sparkly brusho. Lovely. So I've got those in a few colours. And then kind of use like a speedball brayer. And
yes.
I am using, I know you swear by these, Deb, but I am using my ink blending mat, which is just a way that you keep your ink wet to lift off with a brayer or a sponge. So I've got my blending mat to the side here, ready to add my inks. So I'm going to go greens and blues. So I'm trying with Distress Oxides this time. So let's do cracked pistachio first along the bottom. Now on camera it won't look like there is much there. So what are you going? You're doing acrylic paint?
I'm doing acrylic. I've just used this as a stamp, and it's got some quite nice texture. Can you see? It's like the plastic stitching things. So I'm going to do a second print. It'll be much paler.
Right, so I've gone cracked pistachio at the bottom, and then I'm going to go with the Mermaid Lagoon. But I'm not cleaning my brayer because I want it to kind of blend. Right, so they're on the top. So you've got your base of ink. Right, then I'm going to go a bit of peacock green cosmic shimmer. I don't know if you can see that. So it's kind of spritz around, and then I'm just going to spray to activate it with some water. So it says here it's a dry mica pearl powder and dye mix, creating shimmering, colourful effects on any porous surface. So look at that. And then obviously as you print, it's going to smoosh it. This one's going to be quite heavy, but I'm going to go in for a second lift. Obviously you've got the moon mask. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one to dry. Now we're going to come back and add to the moon. Let's go for a second lift.
So what you can do, this stencil was with food packaging, I think. So if you put it over the jelly plate and do a print, then when you take it off, you get the reverse. So always try a second print when you've tried something, because you'll get new stuff.
Oh, that's nice. And we're going to go back in and add to that. So need another moon. So this one here, and I don't mind that there's a bit of ink underneath because that's going to create quite a nice effect. Okay. Beauty is you never quite know what you're going to get. I
No,
did like.
that's good.
I used the copper or the gold. Created quite a nice contrast effect. I might try that in a moment. Right, so that's more of a crisp moon, but we're going to go back in and add some different layers in a minute. Keep using the inks that I've got. Right, maybe a bit of gold. A little bit of gold shimmer. See the effect we get. How it reacts. It's all an experiment. So you're having another go with the pens now, Deb?
Yeah, I'm going to have another go.
So that needs to dry.
This will have to dry though. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I've got a little circular one so I can use that one.
So you often find when you first lift them, they don't look like much. And then it's how you build the layers on top of the jelly print. So I'm going to keep going. So now I'm going to clear up. Now on these blending mats, you're not supposed to use wet wipes, are you, Deb?
Only water.
Yeah, water and a kitchen towel I've got.
Yeah.
I know they're quite particular. Right, so that is that cleaned. I'm going to go pinks next. So I'm going to, but I even love this. I'm definitely going to be using this. So that is the Cosmic Shimmers just on the edge. So I'm definitely going to be saving that, because that could be quite a cool background. Let's save that, get the next piece. Put my jelly plate on. Okay, so we're going to need another circle. You don't need anything sticky to stick the circle on because the jelly plate holds it in place. So you're just hand drawing your little bits.
Yeah, I think it was Kate Crane who did this, who I saw originally do it.
With the acrylics.
Yeah.
We could ask her when she does her demo for any tips and tricks. Right, so I have got that, and then I'm going to go with a nice, I think I'm going to go pink and purple on this one. So I've got Seedless Preserve Oxide, a really deep purple. And I'm not going to add water this time. Right, let's see what we get with just the oxides. So no Cosmic Shimmers on this one. Move it over. It's always quite exciting to see the reveal, see what might come of it. You kind of want to
One
let
thing
it.
you can't do is ever try and recreate what you've made. It will never ever happen. Right, I'm going to put this aside and wait for it to dry. Hopefully it will dry.
Just took a while to come back into focus. So that's just with an oxide. So I'm going to build that one up. Right, I'm going to stick with the pinks and the purples. I'm going to do a base, some of the shimmers in pink. So light water spray, which obviously reacts to the oxides too. Oh, I like the pink. And what I might do is use a little paintbrush to just move this around a little bit. You can almost do a little paint effect, and I find the metallics come out more when it dries. A little bit down here, down there. I'm going to make these into kind of like fairy landscapes, and if you follow Lavinia Stamp, I'm a major Lavinia Stamps fan, so I like to create kind of mystical backgrounds. Right, let's go for a lift on this one, see what it looks like. Definitely a messy hobby, this.
Very messy.
And it was funny because my sister, who bought me the circle jelly plate, which was on my wish list, she had no idea what it was. I was obviously very excited. So that's nice. And the shimmer will only appear once it really dries. Let's go for a second lift. Okay. So, oh, that's kind of interesting. You'll see how I'll build these back up in a bit. I need to keep these circle templates because I'm going to use this for some more inking in a bit. So I do need to keep those. Right, so that's that one. Let's have a little go with the circle one and see how we get on. Brand new jelly plates. Right, so colourways. Let's stick with pink, as I've got pinks and purples here. So I'm going to go for something more subtle here. Purple, purple at the top. So have you ever tried stamping onto a jelly plate, Deb?
No. Have you?
Right. Yes, I'm going to do that as a technique just while I think of it, because
I've stamped texture stamps, but not anything else.
Yes, so I mean, I'm a big Lavinia Stamps fan, so I have some Lavinia stamps, and it's quite nice to stamp some of this foliage in a particular colour along the base, and it lifts off. So let's try it. Thinking on our feet. So I've got an acrylic block here, and this is the what's this one called? They don't have names on it, but it is one of their sort of thistles. And then I've got a couple of others to try. Now I find stamping in like a Versa, so a Versa fine ink is a nice. So I've got blue, for example, or what else have I got? I've got a green. Let's just open this one. This is a Olympia green.
Oh, you can draw on the jelly plate and print straight off it. Can you see the little circles there I've printed straight off?
That's nice.
That's come out well.
Love that.
I'm going to have a go with this then and see. That's looking quite dry. Wonder what colour to put on it. I'm thinking orange. White won't really show up, will it? I think I need a light pink.
So this is going to be nice. So I've gone for, and I'm going to do a lift of this. I'll show you in a minute. So I just need one other little bit of foliage. Oh my god. Trying to find all my bits of foliage.
So do you reckon I need to leave this layer dry before I lift it?
I think you do. A layer of paint to dry. Now look at these. These are cute. Oh, I've got some little mystical stars. I haven't even used these yet. There was a bit of a sale on. Oh, look at those. Those are nice. Maybe some little stars. Look at this flower. Let's give this little flower a go. This VersaFine is very new. And if you think that's quite heavy ink, you can always use this mat to just take off. You don't want too much. Because this is only going to be the first background. Right, and let's go with I think I'm going to have this fairy coming down the middle once I've done a lift. Right, let's lift this and see what it looks like. Gives the first. Oh yes, love that.
That's lovely.
And build up the layers around. So I'll show how I do one more circle, I think, because I've got the ink here. Might as well use up what I've got. And let's have a little bit of blue on this. It doesn't have to be oxides, I find.
Didn't you start off with the distress inks to start with? Before
yeah, distress inks works well. Adirondacks, any of those.
Right, I'm going in with the square. I'm going to try it now. Oh, is it going to work? It's looking quite dry. This mat is quite sticky as well.
Oh, let's see. It's an experiment.
Don't hold your breath.
That's what I love about jelly plates. You never know what you're going to get.
I really like the effect you get when you put a stencil on and then you print after. That's with the stencil on, and that's the print when you take the stencil off. It gives really nice texture.
Love it. I am going to add a bit of stars. But I don't want the whole circle. I just want...
Some of them have come out, but some of them haven't. I'm going to try again.
Oh, I'm loving the stars. Right, let's see how this lifts. Definitely ink and stamping is probably one of my favourite techniques. Right, let's see. Yes, look, this is almost like a ghost. And you can use, those were the ones that were behind. So I'm going to work with a couple of these. Let's clear this all away so that I can start to build up one of these. Okay, so I'm going to work with this one. And what other one do I like? I kind of like either this one, which has now got the gold shimmer on it, or I quite like the pink again, which is just got a shimmer to it. Let's go with the green. And that has dried now. So I'm going to put my moon over, get my blending tools, and I'm probably going to use Distress Inks for this one. It's better than oxides, I find. Greens. I haven't got that many different greens. Let's go blue. Tumbled glass and right, so I've got tumbled glass and stormy sky, and I don't want to use the wrong tool. I'm going in with my favourite tool, Deb.
Yeah.
My little blender.
I'm going to start adding to the ones that I've done now, so I'm adding a little bit of stamping, I think.
Yeah.
A little bit of texture.
I think I prefer this little circle one, which we do these in this shop. I find these little gives a nicer blend. So I've gone back to tumbled glass. It's a little bit softer. And I'm blending outwards. So tend to go outwards on this. I don't know if you've ever tried this technique, but trying to blend it out from the moon.
Yes, and then you get a nice colour then, won't you?
Yeah. There we go. So, and then tend to get my guillotine, cut this down, and this will be mounted probably on a birthday card, I would say.
That's what I'm thinking I'm going to use these for. These would be nice little birthday card.
Yeah, I don't make that many cards, but I am definitely more of a scrapbooker, but I'm going for this technique. They are quite nice for cards. Right, so there is the base, and then I'm going to stick with the blue. Now, what I've forgotten to do, top tip, is dab this off in the lid, because because I was taking too much ink and it was leaving like a really messy mark. And I definitely like this glass mat if you're doing edges, because it's, you glide from the mat onto the paper. You definitely learn as you go. Okay. So that is mostly with Stormy Sky. I might do a bit of tumbled glass. Okay, so there is that. So that was Stormy Sky and tumbled glass, and you've almost got a bit of the glow of the moon. So then I might as well use the stamps I'd already had out that were all inky, as there was, oh, I don't know where they've gone. I've made a right mess here. Stuff everywhere. So I'm going to stick with this thistle, as I already had it inked. Now I use a stamping pad platform for the fairy itself, but I don't tend to for the trees because you don't really need it. It's really crisp. And then I'm going to ghost stamp, because I quite like a lighter and a darker. Here. That Versa is just the best.
Oh, it's my favourite.
It's amazing. Okay, so there is a bit of that foliage. So my fairy, my lovely fairy here, is going to come down across the moon. But I'm going to have some of these lovely stars to go over the top of the moon. I can find the right stamping pad. So blue Versa. These mini inks are just amazing. Let it soak in. Yes, that's nice.
Put a tiny bit of blue with these, I think.
Yeah. Right, what else have I got? Lost all my stamps. So I have these little poppy pods. One of their older stamps, but I do love it. So I'll do a little poppy pod in the blue. I could even go in a, let's go Olympia green for this one. Let's stamp off some of the excess. That's heavy. Olympia green.
I'm going off the edge of the circle with these because I will cut them out after, but I don't want the full circle, so I'm just going off the edge.
Yeah. Right, so Fairy's going to come here, spend ages building up the background. So this is quite a nice one to have coming down here. It is definitely one of my older stamps. It's gone a bit yellow now. There's still loads of life in it.
That's a sign of a well-loved stamp, isn't it?
It is. It's still going strong. A little bit of foliage coming down here. I've definitely still got a lot to learn when it comes to Lavinia stamping. I do love watching Tracy, I think. Is it Tracy from Lavinia?
I think so, yeah.
She's very clever.
And she has had a lot of practice, hasn't she?
Yeah, and I've definitely got plenty to learn. So I will keep practicing. Right, there's some foliage. And then my fairy. So the ink everywhere. My fairy is going to come down here. Now, that is the one I use my stamping platform for, only because if it went wrong right at the last minute, the fairy is the kind of thing you can't afford to get wrong, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I go belt and braces and I use my stamping platform. And then you know you get it just right. And you can see this is going to ride up. And it need a bit of washing. There'll be nothing worse than doing all of this work.
Oh, and then it's ruined.
And then it goes wrong. So if in doubt, now I'm using archival black only because I can't find my Versa. I would normally use Versa. I can't find it.
Somewhere very safe, I expect.
It is moving somewhat. Oh, typical. My paper's moved.
Oh, no.
Don't do what I did. I can rescue that with a fine line pen. It's moved a tiny bit, but you get the idea. Sometimes I wonder, stamping platform, is it the way forward or not? Hard to know. Right, so that's that one. So then back to my circle. So Deb, I've been concentrating. I've missed what you've been doing.
I haven't seen what you've been doing either because I've been concentrating.
We've been head down concentrating.
Heads down. I've been mostly making a mess.
Making lots of layers. Lots and lots of layers.
But they build up really nicely. You probably can't see that really well. But
we'll have to take some photographs.
Yeah, we'll take some photos. And my messy mat is very messy.
So I could build up a little moon in the
That
centre.
looks lovely.
Possibly. Yeah, it's a nice technique. So you can just use a mask and do your own moon. I mean, I'm by no means the best at this. I'm learning, but that's part of the fun. The more I practice, the more I get the hang of it. But I'm by no means a pro. I'm a hobby. It's a good hobby. Just giving you a bit of a moon. There's some fantastic people I follow, and their works of art. And the way
it must take them hours.
Oh, and the way they add the shadows and the highlights. Yeah. Oh, I've got so much to learn. Just about having fun, really. So I think it is definitely more effective when you have your moon more like that.
What do you mean, more near the top?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, when you've got your moon that's like a white space and then you build it up. So I'm going to go back to, I quite like this. Look at that effect.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Is that oxide? So it's oxide, but with the cosmic shimmer added.
Very nice.
So that is very good. And then you can even go in with a stencil. This is a nice kind of stencil you can layer over the top, and you could keep your moon mask if you want to keep that in place. What are you going to do with yours? Are you going to build up, because we've sometimes done backgrounds, quite nice to build up scrapbook.
Yeah.
Now, backgrounds work quite
start doing a little bit of black doodling, I think.
Right, let's see. So I've got like a bit of peeled paint distress ink. Do I do a stencil brush? I've never used a stencil brush. These are quite delicate stencils, you see. I couldn't work out how to best use these. They're very delicate. Yeah, stencil brush is the way forward. That's nice. So kind of see like the jelly plate is almost the first layer, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, don't be put off. It's just the first of many layers. You could literally play for hours building up the layers.
And then there's the doodling if you...
Yeah, that's my favourite bit. I like adding black and white doodles. This would probably work well with spray. I know it would be messy, but it's quite a delicate stencil. So that might be nice with a spray. Some sort of spraying. Oh, that's nice. See, particularly there, quite subtle. And then let's do some more of this. Where is, so this is Olympia Green Versa. So I'm going to trim this down now. I always like to work with a crisp edge. Starts to frame what you're working on. There we go. I'm going to keep that mask in place, I think.
Well, I'm losing everything now.
And me, I've got stuff everywhere.
I'm just going to get, I know I've got some tiny nibs.
Absolutely ink and bits all over the place.
Uh-huh.
Right. Now I wonder, do I stamp my fairy directly this time after the... It's hard to know how best to do it. The stamping platform, because the stamps are quite, these are quite sticky stamps, they tend to lift off. I've not quite perfected that technique yet.
Hard to know what to do, isn't it?
Something I need to work on. Yeah, I've not got the hang of it yet.
I realised I haven't done any sponging, any stenciling. So I'm going to do a little bit of that as well.
Yes.
Only thing is I haven't got a sponge here. What can I use? I'll have to use a baby wipe. It is what it is.
Absolutely. Use what you got to hand. Right, we're getting there. This one's coming in. You see it's got that shimmer from the jelly plate?
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it does. And then I'm going to go peeled paint. I've got the pad on the bottom here. Because it needs a bit of shadow. Brings it all in. That's coming together. Kind of thing you could add lots to. I've got so many stamps. lost you there for a bit. I don't know what happened there, Debbie.
You lost me.
No, well, you lost me, I think.
Oh.
I got kicked out, but I'm back. Very strange.
I'm concentrating so hard.
You didn't even notice I'd gone. Oh, that's funny. I was there 1 minute and gone the next. But I'm back.
Let's hope it's not your internet starting to play it now.
Yeah, it's really strange. Right, I'm going to add some little stars.
Oh, I'm adding stars as well.
Oh,
Sequin waste.
Yeah, this is definitely now. It's about braving the fairy, and I am just going to go on a single stamp because I can't seem to. I tell you what, I think Tim Holtz uses that. I know, double-sided post-its. Oh, why didn't I think of
What
that?
to keep?
Yeah, hasn't he got double-sided post-its? I don't have any of those. And then it holds it to the mat, so he sticks it on a very... Because that's the thing I always end up messing up. Right, I'm going to really ink this fairy, and I'm just going to go for it. And then stand up. Got to let it soak. It's nerve-wracking. Yes. Perfect.
Oh, beautiful.
It's so stressful.
After all that work.
Yeah, that is stamped perfectly. So archival, black archival is good. And then yeah, I don't very often make cards, but this is quite therapeutic because I do like playing with inks and stamps. I started with stamps before I got into scrapbooking, but still learning. Got a lot to learn. Got a little dragonfly. I've got some little mushrooms along the bottom. Tiny, tiny mushrooms here, which I like. Maybe in the green. Very old, these mushrooms, but they're good. Go, a few little mushrooms. And a tiny single mushroom. Look at that tiny little one.
That's cute.
Single. I think when we went to like a craft show, the Lavinia store had them for like £1 as a single mushroom. I was like, I need that. It's just too cute.
You can actually make your own stencils as well. I made this one with a playing card and a punch. And because they're kind of plastic coated, that works quite well as a...
Love that. Right, so I think other than adding a little bit of glitter, because every fairy obviously needs glitter, some Nuvo, you could add Nuvo drops, some stickles. I often go for a little bit of stickles if I can find it in my tote. What have I got here? Diamond stickles. You can never have too many stickles. A few little dots where the stars are. Maybe a little bit on the wing. She needs to be a bit shimmery. Right, that's her done. Can add a bit more foliage, but you see that shimmer from the cosmic shimmers there. We've almost done an hour, and we've got jelly plate prints galore, Deb.
Gosh, that went by quickly.
Oh, it's gone so quickly.
I'm going to have to finish mine later. I'm going to have to seriously have a serious tidy up because it's everything.
I'm telling you that I've got the stuff everywhere. So these are a few. I've got these to work on. These are some from the jelly plate list.
I've got a few nice backgrounds, I think.
You see, I even love this. I'm going to do something with this, which is because that's a lovely moon shape. I'm going to see what I can do with that. We can post some pictures.
Very nice.
So that is us done for the evening. So thanks for joining us. Keep uploading. So the Cybercrop challenges are open until the 3rd of September, and you can upload to the challenge albums, and then we're going to do the spin the wheel for the random prize draw at the end of the Cybercrop. So thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.